This week on Cruise In.
The only thing left that says Pinto is probably the steering wheel.
Ford never made a Pinto pickup, but somebody did. How about this?
They'll say, where did you get that shifter? That's a really rare Hurst shifter.
And the Pontiac Grand Prix it's attached to isn't bad either.
Some people were extremely excited to win eBay auctions, and then reality sets in.
Crap, now I gotta go to Boulder, Colorado to get it.
Well, looks like the trip was well worth it. Plus,
what we do on something like this is I'll border it to about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge.
the Buckeye guys are jamming later in the show. Can a 6'2" man fit in a car that's only 52.6 inches tall?
Does your head stick out that sunroof when you drive down the street?
No.
You sure?
You know, if you look at the shape of it, it's like an egg. It kind of goes like this. And I'm 6'2½".
Stay tuned to find out. Cruise In from the Cleveland Auto Show starts right now.
When it's cold outside and the cars are hot inside, that can only mean one thing. It's the Cleveland Auto Show. Hi, I'm Will Burge and welcome to Cruise In. They put out the bat signal, so we're here to check out the 18th annual Classic Car Competition. There's plenty to see, so let's get started. All right, Lenny, this is different. I've never seen one of these before. What is this?
This is a 1980 Pinto pickup truck,
A pickup truck.
which they never made.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did it end up be like this?
This was built by an old body man up in, I think it was Greenville, Pennsylvania. It originally started out as a station wagon. But I think the way it is now, the only thing left that says Pinto is probably the steering wheel. It's got a 289 Ford motor in it.
And I love the bed. The bed's beautiful with the wood in there too.
Well, I added the wood. He had a carpet in there. I put a wooden bed in the back and a box to have my cleaning gear.
And you drive this around, right?
I drive it, and I'm what you call a karate mechanic. Now, a karate mechanic is waxed on, waxed off. That's about what I know about mechanics.
It looks beautiful though.
Oh, I love the car.
Hey, well, we appreciate you bringing this out. This is awesome. It's unique. It's great to chat with you again. You're a great guy.
Oh, it's great. I'm glad to see you guys here. I mean, it's just wonderful to have, because we need the younger generation to get into the old cars. Yeah, younger guys with the old cars.
We appreciate you showing it to us.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You very much.
All right, Mark, this is a beautiful ride you got behind you. What is this?
1962 Grand Prix, Pontiac Grand Prix.
And how long have you had it?
Had it over a year.
Now, is this something you were seeking out specifically? Did you stumble across it? How'd you get this?
I actually stumbled across it. I had a 1970 GTO convertible I had for many years. Sold the car. Actually, Don Sitz bought the car. And of course, I had all that money burning a hole in my pocket. So I went shopping online, found this car down in Cincinnati, and couldn't pass it up.
And what was it about this Grand Prix in particular that caught your eye?
First year for the Grand Prix. I am a Pontiac guy. My dad bought Pontiacs, my mom bought Pontiacs, so I've been a Pontiac guy ever since I was 16.
So it's just been in your blood?
It's been in my blood, and you don't realize the lines on this car until you really take a look at it. And for all the years, I loved the 62, and came across this and I couldn't pass it up.
And the crazy thing about these are the inside looks so comfortable too.
It is comfortable. It is comfortable.
And I love the I like the bulldog on the side of it too. Is that was your addition? It didn't come with the car, right?
No, it didn't come with the car. That actually was the bulldog I used to keep in my 70 GTO, and he kind of came along with it.
Oh, okay.
He's my buddy. He's my car cruise buddy.
Now, do you get this thing out on the road at all?
Drive it as much as I can, weather permitting.
Yeah, that's the way you got to go with these, right?
Car shows, car cruises. Anytime I can get it out, I get it out.
And I got to imagine it gets a lot of heads turning when you pull on by.
Yeah, it does. It does.
What's your favorite part about this car in particular?
My favorite part about the car, actually, I'm usually a purist when it comes to cars. I don't like customs. The older I get, the more I start to see all the customs around. To me, it's a mild custom. It's basically a stock car with the exception of the wheels and they kind of made it a Super Duty, a 62 Hurst Super Duty rendition with the hood scoop and it's got special Hurst shifter in it, the Hurst emblems, and of course the wheels.
Yeah,
That's what caught my eye.
Yeah, I was saying, I noticed the shifter as soon as I walked by too.
Right. That's actually a rare Hurst shifter. It's funny, people will come by, look at the car, they'll say, where did you get that shifter? That's a really rare Hurst shifter from the early 60s that actually I'd never seen before. I did some research and found out it's a rare piece.
Has it snatched any awards up yet?
Actually, yeah, I've gotten quite a few awards. Quite a few.
And that's all in the first year, huh?
Yeah.
So it's filling up the award
I'm not
show.
an award hound, but it's nice to get recognized.
Yeah.
You know.
I like you staying humble about it. That's what I like about it.
I'm not into the awards. I just like to come cruise, have people admire the car.
We appreciate you bringing it out so we could admire it here.
Thank
It's
you.
absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Next up,
I forgot to take a picture of the for sale sign with the name and phone number.
quick, someone call the hypnotist. Next on Cruise In. From project to pride and joy, the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration can make your dreams come true. Our master body, paint, and mechanical technicians have over 100 years of experience. They do research, can communicate every detail of the restoration process, and their restorations win big-time awards. Buckeye Classic Car Restoration cars have been winning awards since 2001. Let the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration turn your project into an award winner. Welcome back to the Cleveland Auto Show on Cruise In.
All right, Will, first of all, congratulations. You have the best name of anybody I've interviewed today, so I appreciate that. Not only are you a Will, but you're a Willard like I am, so we have the bond here. But what are you sitting next to? This is beautiful.
This is a 1924 Dodge Brothers pickup truck.
Now, this is not a stock 1924. It looks a little different.
No. It was a farm truck. We changed it over, redid it. It's running a 1924, it's running a 04 Rumblebee 5.7 Hemi.
Something tells me these weren't driving around with those Hemis back then, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, not then.
So when you found this, what kind of condition was it in?
It was rust from one end to another. The truck bed on it had just a few pieces of wood, but it had all the brackets for it. So part of the brackets that are on the truck right now are from the original truck. So.
And a lot of this truck is still pretty original though.
The whole truck is original sheet metal. We redid running boards, we patched holes, different stuff like that. It's running the original 1924 frame. It's running the original or mainsprings. We built them up, sent them to a spring company, had them redo them, but the mainsprings are original. So it's running pretty close to most everything.
Now, when you found this rusted end to end, as you said, where did you find it? How'd you come across this?
Came across it on eBay, and I just monkeyed around looking at stuff on eBay. For the heck of it, put a $1,300 bid on it, and I wound up and I got it. So from there, it was like, crap, now I got to go to Boulder, Colorado to get it. So we went out there, we left on a Friday morning, 5 in the morning, and we were back by Sunday noon.
So was it undrivable when you got it? Everything?
Yeah, when we got it, it was undrivable. So when we got it back to our shop, we played with it, put a new battery in it, new spark plugs in it, and it fired up and I was driving it around the parking lot. And that really was a kick, driving something that old around the parking lot.
So then from that, all rusted out to this, how long did it take you to put this all together?
In start to finish, it was probably a little over 3 years.
Wow.
So it wasn't bad.
What was the toughest part of the restoration?
For me, it was just you're designing all the time for putting that in there, and then you would fit something, place it, and then you'd have to put something else in there. You'd have to cut it back out and redo it to get that to fit. So that was challenging and fun at the same time. And the other part for me myself was the wood bed. Finishing that wood bed, I'm not used to wood, and it was a chore finishing that thing.
But this has been a busy year for you. It's only been together about a year, and you've had it all over the place and won awards, and even got to go. You got to go to some special places, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we finished it a week before Piston Power Show last year, and it went from winning. It won first in place at Piston Power. From there, we got invited to the Choppers Club in North Olmsted. It went out there. The truck took best paint of show out there, and from there we got invited to the Chrysler Museum the reopening of it in Detroit. So it went up there for that, and that was fun because it was all modern muscle. Every car there was modern muscle other than this. And it was neat to have the engineers come out and look at this truck and like, what is it? And see this side, you know, where the side that looks like a 1924, and then walk around and see that Hemi sitting in it. It was like, wow.
Oh, there's the modern muscle. Yeah, there it is.
So it was really fun. And then from there it went to Mopar Nationals, and it took first place out there. So.
Busy year, deservedly so on all the awards. Thank you so much for bringing it out and showing it to us. It's absolute beauty.
Thank you.
All right, guys, what do we got here? What are you standing next to?
We're standing next to a 1965 Chevrolet El Camino Pro Streeted.
This is an absolutely beautiful ride. It must have been really easy to come by.
It wasn't that easy to come by. I went to Frankenmuth, Michigan for their big car show back in September. Fell in love with this car, had no intention of buying a car, and 2 weeks later I ended up making the deal, bought the car. Was so excited when I saw this car for sale in Frankenmuth, I forgot to take a picture of the for sale sign with the name and phone number. So fortunately the girls that handled the office for the show were able to find the owner, and back up to Michigan I went.
So you had to do some detective work to get this one.
Oh yeah, this car is awesome. In fact, motor's brand new. The whole car is basically brand new, and I'm getting ready to change the whole car around this summer. Yeah.
All right, well, so before we get to that, what originally attracted you to this car?
I've always wanted a blown Pro Street car. I didn't want to build one, I wanted to buy one, and I'm a truck person, and when I saw this and I saw red being my favorite color, I said, I love that car. So.
All right, so now that you love it so much, you're going to change it around? What are you going to do to it?
We're going to put an all new interior in, power windows, power door locks, new interior in the box, all the new goodies. Taking this all apart, getting it all chrome plated.
Wow.
We're going to really change the car. It'll stay red.
So it sounds like you plan on driving this.
Won't be on the road this year, unfortunately.
But maybe next year you'll be out there cruising.
Oh, next year it'll be a holy terror.
We always talk to people, and there's always the debate whether or not you should be driving around or not driving around, but you seem like the type of person, you want to enjoy this car if you're going to have it.
I will drive it local. I've got a 30-foot trailer it can get towed to if I'm going more than 20, 25 miles.
I love the back of these El Caminos, and this looks sportier than most.
Well, this is raised in the back. They put the rake on it. It's got the 4-link coilovers, so the back end's a little higher. You have to do it to fit the tires, and of course, when you launch these things, if you ever took it racing, that back end's going to want to squat back and down.
So what's the timeline for this? When do you want to have, to your vision of what you want it to look like?
By January of 18.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Any specific reasoning for that date, or just because you want to drive it in that
I want to get it back into this building next March for the Autorama as an all-new car.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Has it always been red cars for you?
Everything I own is red, from my Harley to my Razors to daily cars, my trucks, my trailers, you name it, they're all red.
Everything.
It's my color.
It's your color. Well, I'm glad you're sharing it with us here today because it's absolutely gorgeous. We can't wait to see it again next year when it's all finished.
Thank you. You'll see it.
Coming up,
Paint's expensive, so we're going to do this afterwards.
the Buckeye Guys share tips for painting jams next.
Welcome to this week's edition of Cruising with the Buckeye Guys. Today I got Mr. Bruce with us again, and we're going to go over masking a car. We're going to do the jams. This car was just recently painted here, and we do the jams afterwards. And Bruce is going to explain why we do the jams afterwards, why we paint this car all together, how much easier it is than doing the pieces.
Myself, I like to do the jams last, mainly because there's a little less chance of overspray. And the car, the exterior of the car, the sheet metal will be wet sanded and buffed. So if you happen to get a little bit of overspray, it will come off, and it just gives you a cleaner, fresher look. We masked out the engine compartment, try and make it as clean as possible. We use plastic, wrap it around the motor, and we'll drape it over the fender wells, just a lot less chance of overspray. Then we'll border it with paper. try and use the best of materials that we can, the papers, tapes. What we do on something like this is I'll border it to about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and then the last thing I'll do is lay tape slightly over.
And Bruce, the big reason why we do this is because the car's not buffed right now. It's not even wet sanded.
Right.
Okay. This way here, when we do this, we're not re-sanding the car to get the overspray off.
Right.
We're going to do this first, then wet sand the car, then buff. Some people like to open the doors and stuff like when you're spraying the car, but when you do that, you have more chance for air.
Right.
We don't want no air. Paint's expensive, so we're going to do this afterwards.
Convertible tops, very.
That's a big key there. Those got to be careful with convertible
very
top.
key, especially when you're working around the quarters. Like say if you're painting the quarter panel, you want to make sure you don't have anything come up from underneath the molding, or even the quarter panel itself. So you want to try and back mask anything.
Let's see, Bruce, what else do we do here? Final sanding, nothing's like looking at a brand new car redone. And you open the doors, open the hood, you see jams that are just look fantastic. The jam preparation, to me, is one of the keys to an overall great paint job. Without the jams done, you're just wasting your time.
Right. An exterior paint job is beautiful itself, but it's the detail work that you also do inside the engine compartment, all your jams in your.
And what does the customer see first? When they open the door.
When you open
so
the
the
door.
jams got to be key.
Quality products are very important. You don't want to use cheap materials. Use a quality tape, quality paper. These are both could be used with solvent and water, both the paper and the tape. So.
In closing here with this segment of Cruising with the Buckeye guys, we always use high-end finishes like Sherwin-Williams finish. We use 3M products. We also use Rusty Fender too from Z-Chrome. We use all top-of-line products for that show-winning finish to give you the #1 show car you need from Buckeye Classic Car Restoration. We'll see you next week, and hopefully Mr. Bruce is back for some great segments from him.
Coming up.
It was full of sawdust and spiders.
I'm not a big fan of spiders. Next. Now back to the Cleveland Auto Show on Cruise In.
All right, Terry, this is a little guy behind you. What do you got here?
Yes, indeed. I got a 1957 BMW Isetta.
You don't see a lot of these.
No, you don't. It's kind of cool. That's one of the reasons I bought it.
How long have you had this?
Had it about 18 years.
Really?
Yes.
And how did you find it?
Well, 18 years ago, we didn't have internet. It was an ad in the Lorraine Journal newspaper, and I found it 8 miles away from my house in Lorraine. I live in Vermilion.
Really?
I mean, what are the chances, you know? I was looking for one, and there it is. Wow.
So was it in this type of condition when you found it?
Oh, golly, no. No. The gentleman that had it, an older gentleman, had it in his wood shop. He was going to restore it for his wife, and you know how fast the years go by, and wife got ill and died, and he sold it to me. But it was full of sawdust and spiders. A lot of spiders. Yeah.
And pre-internet, I'm sure it was a real treat to find all the parts for this bad boy.
It was exciting. Yeah. Landline, a lot of phone calls.
Landline, there's people watching this show don't even know what that is.
Oh, no. Dial phones, remember those? Wow, you know.
And how long did it take you to find all the parts?
Well, I picked up Hemmings Motor News. That got it started. And you joined the Isetta Club. Believe it or not, there is an Isetta Club. Yeah, there's clubs for everything nowadays. But that helped me a lot, because these are gentlemen that had worked on these for years and had sources of parts and this, that, and the other thing. And that's what I did. That worked out well.
How many of these are left around, do you know? Is there an idea?
I don't really know. There's usually 2 or 3 of them for sale on eBay in various states of restoration or lack thereof, you know. And the prices are crazy. I mean, parts cars are $800 and $900, and restored examples, I've seen them at auctions trying to get $49,000 for them.
Wow.
So it's, who knows?
Yeah, that's crazy. So have you've drove this around?
Oh, yes.
What is it like to drive this thing?
Well, kind of exciting.
Yeah?
You don't go on the turnpike with it, you know. You're ever vigilant on your rear view mirror. People coming up because it's so slow, you know.
What does it go up to?
Well, the brochure says 52, 53 mile an hour. In reality, about 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on golf carts faster than this.
Maybe so. Yeah. Yeah.
This is really cool though. So do you ever take it out or just on the streets? And
I've driven it to Huron. We have
Really?
a car show at the Dairy Queen in Huron. It's been there a couple of times. But the speed limit on 6 going into Huron is 50 mile an hour.
You can't quite keep up
I'm
with
not
that.
doing that. I'm not going to blow my engine up trying to go 50 mile an hour.
I'd imagine you're hearing the horns honk, and then when they finally see you, they're like, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
That's why it's a bright color.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. No, I move over and let them go by, you know. But most of them don't do that. They'll pull up alongside and they'll drop back. They want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's alien. They've never seen anything like this before.
Well, out here at the show, I've noticed it is a real attention grabber, especially from
yes.
younger people.
Yes. They've all got their little cell phone cameras out taking pictures, yes.
Yeah, the teenage girls, I'm sure, like it's just like a beetle bug, but it's a BMW.
They
even more
love
expensive.
It. They love it. Yeah.
What was the hardest part of this car to find when you were restoring it?
Believe it or not, the tires.
Really?
They're 8-inchers. They were tough to find, really tough. And this was before I joined the club. And the tires that were on it were original. They were hard as a rock. They were wasted. So I had to start with tires so I could at least roll it around a little bit, you know.
All right, now I'm no mathematician, but I'm looking at the size of this car. And you got to be what, 6'1", 6'2"?
6'2" and a half and shrinking.
6'2" and a half?
Yes.
Does your head stick out that sunroof when you drive down the street?
No.
You sure?
You know, if you look at the shape of it, it's like an egg. It kind of goes like this. And I'm 6'2" and a half, I can wear my hat.
Really?
It's no problem, with the sunroof closed.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'll have to believe it when I see it.
Okay.
All right. Well, Terry's going to get in here. I'll believe his head doesn't stick out the sunroof when I see it. The door's going to shut, and apparently he's going to launch to a different planet. And look at that! You fit in there. You could close that sunroof if you wanted to. Room for one more, he says. Terry, thank you so much for showing it to us. This is really cool.
My pleasure, Will. Thanks for the interview.
There were so many great cars here at the 18th Annual Classic Car Competition at the Cleveland Auto Show, we couldn't even show them all to you. So next year, you're just going to have to come for yourself. We thank you for checking us out here on Cruise In. I'm Will Burge saying so long until next time.